Everybody, it's Michelle here with Angel Souls, and this is our weekly angelic message for the week beginning May 15th, 2023. A very happy birthday to my nephew, Zayden. I love you so much. So what we're going to do here, I have channeled a message. I'm going to bring that to you here in the beginning, and then I will break down those channeled messages by groups. Group 1, 2, 3. Check out the description box. That's where you will find the timestamps, information on personal readings, the standard and the live, any upcoming lives, courses, all of that good stuff. And of course, we're going to be pulling cards as well. So in order for all of us to get the most out of these messages, it's important that we're ready to receive. That seems simple, but it does take a little bit of awareness. So if you could, as long as you're not driving, if you're driving, don't listen to this part, just do this later, but try to sit just calmly. Even if you have kids, pets running around, that's okay. Breathe in, hold it for a few seconds, and then slowly allow it to go out. Do this a few times. If you can just close your eyes for a moment. Now, I have already invited in the angelic team, archangels, to come on in and give us some messages. So let's begin with that part. And you can have an angelic experience as well if you're in a place of allowing. Okay, so just that's what you get with these videos. You will get an angelic experience like I'm having right now. I feel them everywhere, and I just feel this beautiful warmth around me. So I asked this angelic team, what do we need to know right now? What should I pass along to everybody? And I did hear that there would be catastrophic events out in the world. So for anybody around the world, if you are not tuned in with your intuition, or you don't trust your intuition, be working on that, right? Do some meditating, focus on the third eye, ask Archangel Metatron to help you with that. But you need to open that intuition. Now, is this fear-mongering? If you're one of those people that wants to twist everything and gaslight everything, yeah, you could certainly see it as such. But I would rather put it out there and have people be prepared. So there are some catastrophic events that everybody who's watching this, you will 100% get through if you're listening to your intuition, okay? So no doubting. If you wake up in the morning and you feel like something's happening, tune into that. Tune into that. What do I need to do right now? It's not in a panicked kind of way. I want to make that very clear. This is, if I don't think I should send my kid to school, then don't do it. If the school system has a problem with it, tough. Okay, we're in a very strange world, especially if you are in the United States. If you're driving on the road and you've had a lot of heavy rain, don't drive through that puddle, okay? Like what you think is a puddle. It's not just that. We're also going to be, the earthquake thing that comes up constantly, tsunamis, that sort of thing. I'm not saying it's going to happen this week, but it could. It definitely could. But just have your awareness, okay? We're in a very different world, guys. We can't go back to the way things used to be. We have to adapt and adjust. And that is why I do the work that I do with angels. All right, to give us guidance so we're not messing up anybody's soul's contract. We're just helping you along, helping you thrive, helping you move forward. All right, so please take these messages very seriously. Now, there's that part. There's the bad news kind of thing. The good news is that for many of us on an individual level, we're having this rebirth moment. This is very Archangel Gabriel. It is, tuning into the sacral chakra, the life force energy. Yes, for everybody, this would be the divine feminine aspect. Everybody has it, all right? So, masculine and feminine need to balance out. This is leaning towards, like I said, the creative life force to give birth to a new way. So I was saying in the daily I believe I was saying in the daily for May 15th, that this is that time where we're looking at everything we've been through, not to victimize ourselves, not to be angry or resentful, but to look at that and go, okay, what did I learn from that? If I don't like how my life is going, where it's accountability. And this is the part that gets everybody stuck on their path. They just don't want to take accountability. And yes, it can be very hard. One, because we become numb to it, right? We don't know. We're just so used to being who we are, right? That's why these types of readings are good as well. So looking at, some hard truths. I don't want to go into the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. I don't know that that's that helpful. But looking back and going, okay, that's how I used to exist. Now I'm going to take my health more seriously. Or, I thought that was the route to health. Now I see that for my body and my needs, it's this. Or, not I should have put my money towards this, that, and the other, but rather I did the best I could for where I was. But now I've learned. Going through that taught me how to move forward. What, again, to put my resources into, whether that's time, money, love, all of that. What am I allowing myself to go through? And does it matter? Does it matter? I'll give an example. This is day 4 of me not having hot water in my apartment. I pay a lot for this apartment. And I've already let them know. They've just ignored me. They have just ignored me. I had a shorted wire in my apartment in the fireplace. They ignored that too. And then when I finally got their attention, I got upset about it. I got their attention. They said I was being paranoid. So, and treated me like I was overreacting, which I wasn't. But, today I woke up, had to take another cold shower. Those are unpleasant. If you don't know, they were very unpleasant. But, and sitting there and I started to get angry because I'm like, this is ridiculous. Why can't people just do their jobs? And then I started going down the road of I pay too much for this place, all that. And then I stopped and I'm like, why is this making me so angry? Well, it stinks to have to take a cold shower. But what else is behind that? And this is the reason why I'm giving you this example. What else is behind that? I have felt so controlled in my life that when stuff like this, and it's an injustice, it starts to feel like a major injustice because I feel like I'm being controlled. Like I'm dependent on them to come and fix this, kind of thing. And I already know what it is, but they got everything locked up so I can't access it, so I can't take care of it myself. But, it's that sort of thing that we're being encouraged to do. Go a little bit deeper, see what's going on. And they really want to address this lack mentality. And I see this all the time in the comments. I can't do this. I can't afford that. I can't. And, for me, having done these videos for 10 years, it's easy for us to go into that mentality, but have we learned nothing? Right? Have we learned? The angels are always coming forward and saying, again, this is that time to look at where you put your resources. Are you investing in you or are you investing in someone else's gains? Think those online boutiques that are selling fast fashion that were probably made in a sweatshop somewhere. They're not going to wear that stuff. They're wearing luxury brands. But I bet you put a lot of money into that for your shopping and, other big box stores, right? So these are the things that we're being asked to look at. I'm thinking of an example here. I live in Colorado, so I got to be careful of what I say here, but I think you know where I'm heading with this. A certain thing that's a thing here, okay? I had this friend that I met here years ago. She was a neighbor. And every time we went somewhere, first of all, she never wanted to leave her apartment. But when we did, it was always this victimhood, can't afford it. Oh, I just don't have the money. And so I would end up paying for her. And then I went into her home. That thing that I'm talking about, she could have had her own shop. Okay, so now listen, hey, if that's what you, listen, do you, okay? But don't take advantage of other people because of your life choices. Does that make sense? So these are all the things that we're having to look at. And, this would be along the lines too of, I can't afford therapy. Well, go look around your home and see where you're putting your money. That's the kind of thing that we're into. Why is that? Because there's a lot of stuff out in the collective that is happening. We are seeing where we have been sort of brainwashed to put our resources into something to pump somebody else up, to Let them have more money so they can come and buy up all the homes and then rent them out to us. There's a lot going on here. All right. So this isn't, oh, feel guilty for going on that shopping spree. No, it's not that. It's stop and look at it and go, what inside of me made me go into this? And you can't blame them either. Right. So this whole thing where people are like, oh, these people are so evil. They're out there marketing to us or whatever. The marketing works. So if you don't like it, stop giving into it. You feel me? So now that's different than I have to do the marketing too, so I don't get drowned out by, fake readers and things like that. It's tough. But this is very much that time to stop and go, what is worth my investment? Like for me, do you want to invest in a home? Do you, instead of buying a bunch of clothes, maybe, I don't know. Or do you want to, like for me, I'm sitting right next to my computer, in order for me to edit videos, I needed a more powerful machine. So instead of buying a bunch of stuff that doesn't matter, or I would eventually end up donating, I put my money into my machine, which is giving back to my business. Do you see what I'm saying? Please take this very seriously, all right? Because this seems surface level, but it's not. It's not. All of these things are going to be very eye-opening. If, I'm giving all these examples, so pardon me, but during the pandemic, I put on a lot of weight, like a lot. And even though I started reducing what I was eating and trying to work out and all that stuff, I was still putting on weight. What is that? Cortisol. I know what it is, okay? And I'm sitting there going, yeah, but I can do this. I just need to, calm down so I can get this weight off. But the weight wasn't budging. Now I'm getting older, so, that's a thing. But I had to stop. Use those moments to stop and evaluate. Because you know what? When I stopped and I was thinking about it, I won't share all this stuff because it's such a downer here, but there was so much that I managed to come through with the last 3 years that I never would have imagined I'd be able to get through. And the outcome was stress, understandably so, lots of cortisol. And when I understood that and had some compassion for myself instead of driving forward to correct the mistake, right? Correct, because women, we're supposed to be beautiful, right? And you can't, we've always had this thing of you can't be fat, you can't be whatever, so silly. But we have to sit and look at where that comes from, okay? And you can go deeper and deeper. As I always say, make sure you have proper support, maybe with a therapist if you're going through that. Of course, if you are experiencing things like high cortisol levels or whatever, get with a doctor, okay? Get with a doctor, make sure you are taking care of yourself in that way. So the messages they're trying to bring through me to you, through these examples, hopefully they're hitting home. Now, unfortunately, humanity is in such a place and has always been in such a place where if it's not specific to you, if I'm not dazzling you by, pointing out, hey, you have red hair and you drive a white sedan and, you're going to go to the grocery store this afternoon, and you might be like, oh my gosh, that's me. And that little, that little sting, that little charge you get out of it, that's why people think that stuff is valuable when you have red hair, you know what kind of car you drive, and you decide whether you go to the grocery store or not. I'm not the one to tell you that. There's no magic in that. And this is something that we're waking up to as well. People don't like it. They don't like it. Why? It challenges their belief systems and maybe makes them feel wrong. Even though no one is saying they're wrong, they'll take it that way, right? Humanity's in this sort of trained defense mode, and yet we're defensive about things that don't really matter instead of focusing our attention on what does. Now, when we do focus our attention on what really matters, people go off the rails. This is where we get paranoia. This is where we get, I'm going to fight every little thing that ever was just so I can feel like I made change. What I'm fighting for may not even make sense. Maybe I don't even know what I'm fighting for. But darn it, I'm going to get out there anyway just so I can say that I did. This is all of what they're bringing up right now. These are a lot of things that people will not want to address they'll hide from, they'll click off, they'll say no, then you've missed it. You've missed something very important. And I don't want to sit here and get people scared and say you're not going to be ready. You're not going to be ready. Because really what's going to be going on is not anything that is unexpected. I mean, we saw it coming. But if we're not energetically fortified to be able to maintain ourselves through that, that doesn't mean that you're always in a peaceful, blissful state, right? Because then you're not acknowledging what's really going on. You're in denial, right? If you're in human skin and you're, pretending like you can levitate across the floor, you're in denial. But if you can observe what's going on, process it, you're not in avoidance mode. You're not, it doesn't pertain to me exactly, therefore I don't care, right? Everything affects you. Everything does. And if you're staying on the surface, you're in trouble. I've been saying that for years. We are all connected. We are all one. Our vibrations are pinging off of one another. And the stakes are really high. And if we don't take accountability and start doing that self-examination, investing in ourselves, whether that's, going to the gym, getting that doctor's appointment, going to therapy and working on some childhood trauma, whatever it is that is meaningful for you. Maybe for you, it's going to a concert and listening to some really great music. What do you put your resources into? You need to stop and evaluate that. What are you putting your energy into? Okay? So, there's that part of it. Let's grab some cards. What deck? I don't want to use this deck. I'm going to use the crystal deck this week. Get some more on that. And please understand, they're very adamant about this. I always have these conversations with them. I'm like, we've been saying similar things for years. And unfortunately, human brains go, I'm bored of this. I don't want to hear this. Instead of actually, every video that I have put out, it has an energy. There was even a video, I went ahead and posted it because I was being harassed by some dude. I went ahead and put it up because I felt like it was illustrating what the mindset was. And unfortunately, because if I told anybody that story, they wouldn't believe me. Because we have that problem going on too. So I put that out there. But, every video that I put out, because I work with angels, you can take that in. You're not taking my energy, but you're opening up to angelic messaging, okay? Same thing with like readings, anything like that. So with that in mind, whoever you choose, there are lots of great practitioners out there. And there are a lot of bad ones too. Remember, whoever you work with, let's just put it that way, whoever you work with, that's the energy you're opening up to. Okay. So first out, we have Tiger's Eye Courage. Ooh, boy, does that hit home. We need courage to look at, it's everything that I was just saying. We need that courage and that strength to look at these things. And again, it's not so we get angry. It's not so we get angry. It's so that we take things seriously. And also the courage to, like I'm sitting here recording this video. And at any moment, if the maintenance, if they decide to come today, they won't tell me. They'll just show up. And I'm sitting here like waiting for that knock on the door. But then I have to, I just dropped a card. Then I have to remind myself to have courage. What does it matter? What does it really matter? In the end, everything will work out. Don't allow our attention to be pulled away. Okay, normally I wouldn't take this many cards, but I'm feeling like it. This is the story. Stibnite conflict. This is us being in conflict with one another because we've been taught to do that. We have been taught, just the fighting. Or if things aren't going well in our lives, feeling entitled to punish others for that. Or feeling entitled to take. I've said this before. Where do we take energy from people? Where do we think we're super entitled? I've had plenty of people all throughout. ever since like being in school. I remember kids wanting me to help them with their homework, but they were so entitled that I said no. I have my own homework. Or just think of any time in your life where someone just assumes like you're put on this earth to help me. This is your job, right? To help me. And they don't acknowledge that you have a life. Okay? So there's a little bit of that going on. It's messy. It's messy, but it's good. All right? And we have to remember that because we have Baji stones, balance, and then we have pyromorphite, patience. Now, if you are someone who cannot handle these messages, you're in trouble. And I would highly recommend that you start just on your own meditating with angelic light, with angels. I don't just pull cards and give you an angelic message. I'm channeling that energy and I'm passing it along to you. So don't just stop here. All right. Of course, we got the groups to do too, but make sure you are doing an angelic meditation. And that doesn't have to look like an actual angel meditation. It can just look like high frequency music or something along those lines, or maybe you're out in nature or something like that, and setting the intention to invite, and you're inviting in angels and archangels. Don't leave out your guardian angels, okay? With everything that's been going on, we get extra guardian angels that come in. And if you're not aware of that, you had better meditate and get to know them, okay? Don't leave out your higher self. Be working on this stuff. It's not just about us as individuals. What we do matters. What we do affects everyone else. So no, we don't get to just sit back and just say, oh, whatever, it's my life. It's your life, but there are people who love you. There are people who want to see you succeed. There are people who are scared and hurt. And we all have to, this is the thing. We're being given the information. Why aren't we listening? Why aren't we listening? Ask yourself. Do you gravitate to this type of message, or are you out there for the gossipy readings? Which, by the way, is a complete violation of God's law. Did you know that? Tell me how he feels. Oh, I'll tell you how he feels. Violation. Criminal side eye. That goes against God's law. You cannot interfere with someone else's free will. You can try to stand back, and if the person has open energy, or especially how that energy is affecting this other person, you can pick up on that and offer it to that person. But that's not what is really going on out there. Okay? Peach, inhale a breath of life. The number is 19. We got to get back to 1, okay? Because this is 9 plus 1, 10, reduces to 1. That's the process. And peach is, this color at least, it's taken a beat. It's taken a moment. It's letting all of the, I don't even want to say negativity, because how many people in various forms of spirituality think that peace means you made it? So what the heck are you talking about? I'm talking about this. I don't go to a lot of yoga classes because they are hypocritical. Especially here in Colorado. Oh my God. I would not dare go to a yoga class in Boulder. I don't care if you're offended or not. I wouldn't do it. Okay? Why? They're fake. They're super fake. Oh God, Michelle's on it again. Yes, she is. It's who I am, and I am not sorry. And I don't need to change for anybody, right? And I would encourage you to take on that attitude as well. Sorry, I had a little sniffle moment there. But some of these places, it is a good place to go and find some peace. But if you go into a yoga class and everybody's competitive, or they're trying to be the cutest person in there, or they're walking in with entitlement, they have their spot on the floor, and if you dare be anywhere near it, oh my. Just because you follow the practice doesn't mean you're getting it. And just because the world tells you that a spiritual person is supposed to look like X, Y, and Z, that doesn't make it true. Because then you would miss out on what I'm doing. She said, what now? You miss out on what I'm doing, okay? I am designed perfectly for this work. And I'm designed with my sassy little attitude, hopefully, mostly to kind of like break open the energy a little bit. It's an icebreaker. And sometimes we need it straight. Need a straight shooter because we may overlook it, okay? And please know that every time I'm sassy, it's all with love. It's all with love. And if you're feeling sensitive and, maybe feeling a little down or whatever, it's meant to kind of hopefully make you laugh, right? Or wake you up, okay? I can say a lot more on that. Leave your questions about this portion of it in the comment section. Share this video, please. Share this video. Am I saying that for myself? To some extent. I can go off and get another job. I've heard people say, oh my gosh, you're always talking about this stuff to get people to buy your readings so you can pay your bills. I can get another job. I can do this as a side gig. That's no problem. I know the feeling I've been getting. And I've been told to sit and reach people. So please listen. Please take it seriously. Just sit with it, okay? It's not scary. It's not scary. There's a lot of love there, and we keep missing it, okay? Let's get on to the groups. Hello, group one. So here is your message from the angels, specifically with and in conjunction with that first part of the reading. If you did not listen to that, if you're impatient, you're going to be one of those people who listens when it's too late. When you go back in hindsight and go, oh my gosh, that's what they were trying to tell me about. That's what they were trying to get me to understand. Please don't be that person, okay? This is a very deep time. This is a time for you to really not overanalyze everything, but don't just let everything go flying across the surface and you don't recognize it. For a lot of you out there, feel like this is the boundaries thing. And maybe for some of you, it's you learning to have boundaries with others. You are not entitled to other people's time. You are not more of a victim than anybody else. Right? It's learning that. Also, on the flip side of that, you don't have to solve everyone's problems. You don't have to put yourself on the back burner to be there for everyone else. Okay? All right. So your cards, we have Pink Tourmaline Forgiveness. This is a big one. This is that one that I get the most kickback on. I'm not forgiving that person because I want to stay. Now, this is going to sound a little stronger than I mean it. I'm going to stay right where I'm at because if I do, then I have control over it. Or maybe for some people, it's being in that victimhood loop. Now, when I say victimhood, it doesn't mean that you don't have a right to feel what you feel, especially if something really did happen to you. I mean, and I say that because there are some parts of our humanity, unfortunately, that will make up a sad story to get people to feel sorry for. Okay, anyway, but Pink Tourmaline is very much connected to the higher heart. So this is the Archangel Chamuel part of it. So we have Raphael for the heart chakra, Chamuel for the higher heart, getting connected back to the divine. And you're going to miss that connection. You're connected, but you won't understand it if you're in resentment, fear, anguish, all of that. So This is your sign to get working on that healing. You need to be connected into, dropped half the deck. Get connected back into that divine presence. Sunstone, empowerment. See, a lot of people out there are thinking that they're a victim of circumstances. We have no power. And I know what that can feel like. You know, that could feel like, dang it, like every time I do something, it doesn't work out. Or every time I try to find a solution. The problem is that you're trying to find a solution that fits your perception of what you're capable of. And this is trying to get you to go into a new direction, okay, with a new type of energy, a new perspective. Pre-night trust. So as all of you are going through all of these things, trust that it's for good reason. I know that sounds like sidestepping. It's not in the way we're saying it here. Trust that things are having to work out the way that they are so that you have some realization. And I hear all the time, people are like, why does it have to be so hard? Because we make it hard. All right? We have to be beat over the head before we figure something out. I see a hair somewhere. Oh, this is driving me nuts. Anyway, we have to be beat over the head before we finally get the message. So if we don't like how it's done, we need to change how we receive things. Then we have Ruby Shine. So this is the process. You need to forgive. Get into that place of empowerment. Don't just be cowering in the corner, ruminating. I've been there, and it gets you stuck. And then next thing you know, you're not thriving. You're not successful. You're not happy, right? So trusting yourself too can lead to this moment where you shine. Now, a lot of people will hear that and go, I knew I was always meant to be famous. No. Pretty soon, we're not going to be doing the celebrity worshiping anymore. And yeah, there will still be famous people out there, but we're starting to realize that they're just people. Okay? All right. We have Indigo, improve your vision. The third eye, work with Metatron. The number is 40, reduces to 4. Do not leave out your guardian angels, okay? So in order to come through and to get going in this direction that we all need to be going in, we can't be putting ourselves above others, acting like, well, I'm more spiritual than you are, or I have more downloads than you. Anybody who talks like that, I know they're not for real. They're too ego-driven for it to be real. Work on your intuition this week, okay? And this is going to help you see. Working with the intuition is not going to automatically fix all your problems, but it opens your vision so you see what needs remedied. And then you can move forward, all right? I'm going to leave it there for you guys and move on to group 2. Hello, group 2. Let's see what's going on for you with the cards. But first and foremost, I'm feeling heavy relationship patterns. And this is relationships of all kinds. How do you relate to your fellow, I don't know, I want to say siblings? I don't know. Like if we're thinking of all of us coming from source, how do you relate to others? This is reflecting, this is like something you observe within someone else. You might say, well, you trigger me. No, you trigger you. Okay? No blaming anybody else for your triggers. You need to get to the bottom of what those are and why they're there. And remembering this is where projection comes from. We look at somebody and we don't like what we see. It's not, let's be clear, because that could be a very dangerous thing to think, especially if you're like a narcissist and you're with a narcissist and you're being abused. It can be very difficult when someone says, oh, well, what you see in that person is also in you. Ish. Okay, not the way we would interpret that. But when we look at someone, that person is someone who probably had core wounding just like you, but they went a different direction with it. They went the overcompensating, trying to convince everybody how great they are when they don't really believe it themselves. And you never took that on. So it's at the base. As I always say, the underlying energy could be the same. So what are you seeing in others? Where are your triggers? Where are your defenses? Okay. Amethyst, meditation. Right? Amethyst is also incredibly healing as well. Amethyst can be good for travel too. So a little side tip on that. And this is resonating with Archangel Raphael, even though it's purple. Okay, I know. Raphael's supposed to be green. It don't even matter, okay? Raphael can help you with travel, healing, all the stuff, all the attributes of amethyst correlate with Raphael. So if you are traveling, carry a little bit of amethyst. I would highly recommend that it be tumbled amethyst so, airport security doesn't think it's something else, right? Or have it set off the detector or whatever. But, it's more about traveling forward. It's sort of metaphorical. How often do I say metaphysical? It's metaphorical in that it's trying to help you move forward. Fairy stone fertility, life force energy. Life force energy. If you don't bring it back, if you don't do that healing, you will be stuck. Okay, they're giving me the image of a world crashing down. And you never learn to take that seriously, and you never learn to run. And so then that world crashes around you. Or you can also, I'm getting another vision here of like you're on a bridge and the bridge is falling apart behind you. And because you never learn to heal and take care of yourself and know when to spring into action or what have you, you stand there in fear. And then what happens? You fall with the bridge. Okay? So this fertility card is saying, get back in tune with the things that create life, not with the energy that destroys it. What destroys life? Anger, hurt, fear, all those sort of lower emotions. And it doesn't have to be in like a grandiose way, but if you've ever just been in despair, right? If you've ever been in a place of, I feel so stuck, everything I do just doesn't work out, that's the kind of thing that will keep us standing on the bridge when it's falling down. Now, how do we get out of that? You meditate, you heal, and you know that even if things are not coming together in the timing you want, it's still working in your favor. Okay, Master Teacher card, Awakening Crystal, Emotional Healing. Telling you, how do you relate to others? And this emotional healing, it feels like a lot of you are in this pattern. You're in a loop where you're attracting the same kind of love partners. You're accepting the conditioning. And I know. I'm one of those people who I don't accept the conditioning. And when I speak up, I don't get support. Right? It's, you're being too harsh. Or, you're too this, you're too that. But I've done a lot of emotional healing. And so I see it. But a lot of people who've not done the emotional healing, they still think that a certain type of behavior or a certain dynamic is perfectly acceptable. And if you don't want to accept it, there's something wrong with you. You're the outsider. So part of this comes down to, are you okay with breaking away from unhealed people? And I don't mean that in a way of putting yourself on a pedestal. I mean that in a way of, I can't accept this for myself. I hope things change down the road. I hope we can all come together again. But I'm not going to be the housewife that has to do everything and raise the kids and the husband does nothing. I'm not going to be the one that's everyone's scapegoat. If we can heal this, great. And that's the thing. It's not just stomping away and thinking that, part of your path to healing might be getting some distance. But I've seen so many times where people are like, I've just completely made these drastic moves because they're the reason why I'm in pain and they're never going to change. And maybe that's true, or maybe it's not true. Maybe they've got their own stuff that they're working through. You feel me? Again, we're all connected. We are all one. Part of your awakening at this point would be understanding that. And then we have orpiment success. So you do come through, but this is all having to fall into place. You have to look at, where do you put up a barrier between you and opportunities, you and other people? There's a frequency that you're putting out there. And, the reflection, what's being reflected back to you, that's the energy you're putting out. This is that energy matching thing. So let me say, if you go around and you're just kind of unfriendly, maybe you're a little cold, And then you can't understand it when people are cold with you, maybe even start to fall into victimhood. That is such a New Yorker thing. Don't talk to me about it. I lived there for a good portion of my adult life. They go around with a chip on their shoulder and they're mouthing off to you, and then you're like, what? You give it back to them a little bit, and they're like, gosh, I didn't mean anything by it. Like, that's where I started understanding to not take things so seriously, but energy match. Okay, so brilliance, discover your sparkle. See, this is what has been holding you up. Number 26, that's 8, abundance. What are you trying to get towards? You know, if you say success is business success, nothing wrong with that. But if you end there, then your life is just about a job. No, it's a career. Is it? It probably is. But I'm just saying, like, discover what that is doing for you. What is that awakening within you? That's how you discover your brilliance, your sparkle. That's where that creative life force comes from. And maybe you're crafting this whole next chapter of your life based on what comes up for you right now. All right? Yeah, it's that deep. All right. So we're going to leave it there for you guys and get on to group 3. Hello, group 3. Let's see what is going on for you. For all of you, the first sort of channeled feeling that's coming through, I'm seeing a park. I'm seeing sunshine. There's a gentle breeze. There's some good food. Maybe there's some wine there if that's what you're into. Like, it's just feeling very like joyful simplicity. So maybe this is what some of you need to get back to, or at least try it. Right? Give it a couple of hours to go to the park and have a picnic. Just try it. I don't care how busy you are. I was just saying for group 2, I made a reference to New York City, but one of the things I think would almost make me fall in love with a guy was if I saw them in Central Park and they're in their suits, but they went to Central Park, they took their shoes off, they put their devices down, and they're sitting there reading a book. Or they're just sitting there looking at the sky or whatever, or just chilling for a little bit. I love that, because to me that represents balance. They know how to live in our 3D world, but they also know when to take a break and how to take a break. Okay? So for you all, I think this is your time where it's coming out of a stormy sea, calmer waters. Let's see what else we have here for you. Brazilianite flexibility. So, you know, it's funny. It's not as if everything just starts to click together and become perfect for you. You get comfortable with the messiness. Like, that's what this is. You know the chaos is there, but you know when to unplug from it and just, you know, tune in for a bit. And to be flexible, you can't have everything your way. Okay? So if you have expectations and someone else is not living up to those expectations, doesn't make you right, doesn't mean that you get to command them to do X, Y, and Z. Be flexible. Be flexible. It'll work out. It will work out. All right, aquamarine communication. Aquamarine is wonderful for angelic communication. Seraphonite, angelite, you know, all these, what's the other one? Celestite. Anyway, I'm like looking around to see if I have examples. I guess I don't. I used to. Okay, anyway. So this is a great one to do angelic communication. But please understand, this is telling you to tune in with your angels. How many of us have not been doing that? You know, I've seen it. It started to get really trendy and popular around 2012. 2015, it fell off and everyone ran to tarot, which if you've got a good tarot reader, I've said this many times, great, but most of them are not. Most of them are not. They're not in their integrity. But everyone just kind of said, don't show me what I actually have to look at. I don't want to look at it. I don't want to think about it. Like, can't do that. All right. Ruby, shine. It is your time not to shine through someone else's validation, but to shine in the way of finding your happiness in every moment. Okay? So even if everything's a mess, you know how to stop for a moment in the middle of chaos and breathe. Okay, we got this other card sticking out. Libyan Gold Tektite Manifestation. This is how you are going to craft the next chapter. I'm telling you, you have to listen to this. You got to be flexible with what is. Don't try to push. Don't try to cram everything into the now moment. Listen to your angels and guides. They're trying to tell you, hey, hold on a minute with those plans. And that could be because something even better is coming along. And it's funny because I was just looking at a house, and it had just come on the market, and they took it off immediately. And I saw this house. I'm like, that's the house. It's the right price. It's perfect, right? I don't know what happened. I don't know if somebody swooped it up before it officially went on market, but then it came right back down. So I don't know. But there was a part of me, the very human part of me, that was like, oh, I wanted that house. Like, what the heck? Like, I deserve a house. I've been at this a long time, like a very long time. And then there was another part of me that if I just quieted my mind and all the mind chatter and the expectations, and if I tuned in, I know now is not the right time. And I know something else is meant for me. And it's coming probably in the next couple of months. So that's what we're talking about here. That's the level of listening and understanding that we need to be doing. Green, revitalize your nervous system. The number is 31. Reduces to 4. This whole thing is like, if you really want to bring good things into your life, you need to chill out. Okay. If you really want to bring in the good stuff, you need to make spirituality a priority, or it's not going to work. I mean, you might be able to force some things in, but I've known plenty of people I've known billionaires who wanted me by their side. Why? I was their emotional support. I was the empathy that they were told to abandon to get where they are. So that right there tells you they're not equaled out. They haven't done, well, maybe they've fulfilled their soul contract, but for sure this isn't the final lifetime for them. No, they'll be coming back again. Okay? So we're going to leave it there. I'm sending y'all so much love, and take care.